Yeah. Um, an autumn night. It was a chill autumn morning, the kind that sends shivers down your spine. He was standing there, trying to comprehend what had happened the night before. He didn't know how it could have gone this bad. This was never the intention of his life. He had goals and dreams, but now they were all shattered. His life was completely over. The day had started as every day had for the past 5 years, with him busting his guts at work. After a long day, he got home and greeted his wife. However, this evening was special, because this evening was their anniversary. So he showered, got dressed, and they went out to celebrate. It was just supposed to be a short dinner, but at the restaurant, they met another couple, and they got along so well, they decided to share a table. They were laughing and had so much in common. One drink led to another. At the suggestion of the other couple, they kept the evening going at the nearby tavern. The drinks were flying, and suddenly everything went blank. When he regained his consciousness, he found himself in a dark cellar, tied up next to his wife. Panicked, he started to scream, only for the silence to be broken by a lock unlatching. The darkness was shattered by a shimmer of light coming from the door crack at the other end, and two silhouettes came through. It was the other couple. They smirked with devious joy while they slowly revealed some tools. With only the illumination of a lantern, he stared with sheer horror when they punctured his wife's fair skin with a drill. Her gut-wrenching screams filled the cellar like an orchestra would fill an opera house. Then the true terror started when they pulled out the scalpel. Very slowly and methodically, they started to skin her alive. She very quickly lost the strength to resist and just lay there with a blank stare, her brain very clearly trying to protect her. When they reached her elbow, her body flinched and the scalpel broke. Frustrated, the man punched her while the woman pulled out the new one, and they continued. What they didn't know was that a piece of the blade had landed close to his hand. He saw his chance, and while they were occupied skinning her, he started to quietly cut his ropes with the small piece. The tears muddied his sight, and her screams deafened him, but he refused to give up. Her life depended on him quickly breaking free, and somehow overpower them both. Suddenly, her screams had stopped, and he froze in place. There was so much blood on the table, her now still body was laying, and with a crack, they tore off her hand and skin from shoulder down. He made eye contact with her, and there was not an ounce of life emitting from them, and he felt his soul dying. The couple laughed and drilled another hole in her other shoulder. His emptiness was suddenly filled with pure rage, and, like a bear ripping a man in half, he tore himself free from his restraints. With an animalistic growl, he threw himself over them, accidentally knocking over the lantern. He started to scratch and scratch thoughtlessly at them, and they buried the scalpel in his abdomen. The lantern landed on some cloth and it caught fire. In his adrenaline-infused state, he managed to knock them both out. He manically stumped, and their legs snapped like a dry cracker. First, when the smoke reached his nose, he snapped out of it and stepped off. He quickly untied his wife's mangled body and began to drag it out from the cellar. The flames were engulfing the walls, and their screams echoed through the night. He painfully dragged what was left of her corpse out from the soon-to-be ruins of a cliffside house, far away from civilization. So, his life was completely over. All those dreams and goals for nothing. When the sun slowly started to rise, he stared with an empty gaze, one single tear leaving his eye, and he stepped off the edge. There was no scream, and the silence was only broken by the soft bud on this chill autumn morning that sends shivers down your spine. The end.